Hello, and thanks for joining me for another Tai Chi talk. Today, I'd like to talk a little bit about improving your Tai Chi. You know, in Tai Chi, it's not always your movements that need to be worked on or that needs to work. Quite often, it's our personalities. And it's something that we don't necessarily give enough thought to. In Tai Chi, we do a lot of touching. It's a very close art. We push hands and dalu and grappling and so forth. And one of the things that's not discussed very often is that who you are is expressed through your touch. And that's very important to keep in mind. Who you are is expressed through your touch. So if you're an aggressive person and you're pushing hands, if your personality is aggressive, you're going to have aggressive tendencies and push hands, which is also going to hamper your growth in Tai Chi. If your personality is timid, then that also is going to affect your training and your abilities in a certain way. If you're an anxious person, that is going to show itself. If you're unfocused, you can't maintain focus because, as I'm sure a lot of you experienced, that when you push hands, as soon as you lose focus, even for an instant, that leaves you open for the other person to attack because they can feel that lack of focus. If you're inflexible in your thinking, in other words, you have to do it one way and one way only. Well, we all know that in push hands, things don't always go the way you want or happen the way you might imagine them to happen. And you have to be able to, in the moment, change what you're doing, your process from one thing to another, like water, and be fluid. So if you're inflexible in your thinking, if you're an inflexible person, that's obviously going to have a negative effect on your Tai Chi growth. And of course, if you're a very competitive person, and I see this one a lot, well, that also doesn't leave much room for a whole lot of improvement because you're going to be very Lee at many points because you're thinking about winning, not about feeling and understanding what's going on and working at it from that angle. And of course, some people are very, very measured and very balanced individuals. And obviously that's a good thing. If you're measured in your approach and you're balanced in your approach, you're sort of in neutral. You're kind of idling in neutral. And as things happen, you shift into the appropriate gears to get the results that you need. You're responding to what's going on instead of trying to force it or run away from it. So a person's touch or response can tell you an awful lot about them, even before the push hand start. Just as soon as you touch, you can feel someone who's competitive. You feel the pressure build up. Someone who's nervous and tentative, you can feel them shrinking a little bit. It doesn't take much. If you have a degree of sensitivity, you can feel these things. There is one other thing that I would like to point out. In more than one occasion over the last several decades, I've worked with many women in Tai Chi. And sometimes, and this is important for instructors to be aware of, sometimes you're working with someone who comes to your school or private lessons or whatever, and they want to learn from you, and they like Tai Chi because it offers them what they think they need, something peaceful, calm, whatever they're looking for. But in many cases, we don't know the background of the people that we're working with. And I've worked with women who in the past who have been attacked. And many times they're doing well in their lives, and they think that they're past it until it comes to touching, particularly the touching with a male. And sometimes this can have an effect, sometimes a very noticeable effect, and sometimes not so noticeable. But if you're teaching people and working with them, it's a good thing to keep in mind, to be able to see something going on that may be very subtle, and you may have to step in and, without embarrassing anyone, sort of make a adjustment in the situation. That is something that I've not heard other Tai Chi instructors talk about, but it is something that I have come across in the past, and I think it's very, very important. And just as these situations are there with some women, I mean, there are guys who have certain issues too, whether it's PTSD or maybe they've been attacked or abused in some fashion. So anytime when we're close up and we're actually touching someone, we all come from different walks of life and we all have different experiences. And it's very important to keep that in mind. But it's also very important to keep in mind that if you are studying Tai Chi and you want to go as far as you could possibly go, then pay attention to what personality you have and see what, if anything, in your personality may hold you back, because we all have things we need to work on. So once again, thanks for listening and take care.